Hello and welcome to my Yu-Gi-Oh channel. Today we're looking at brand new vendread support that's coming out of Power of the Elements. Scar Vendread is a level 6 Dark Attribute zombie type effect monster with 2300 attack and 0 defense. You can only use the first and second effects of this card's name each once per turn. 1. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one vendread spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. 2. If a monster on the field is tributed while this card is in the graveyard, you can banish one other zombie monster from your graveyard, special summon this card, and if you do, you cannot special summon monsters while you control this monster, except vendread monsters. This is actually quite decent. Most of the vendread monsters are limited in their attack and defense points. I believe there's a couple of them, like 1800 attack points is one of them. There's a 2100 defense point monster as well. They're typically level 3 or 4 monsters, so you do have some weak ones. This is kind of a mid-range level 6. 2300 attack is fine. With the effect, if it happens to be sent to the graveyard, you just search for any of your vendread spell or traps. It's useful for those types of effects for searching. The secondary ability, if a monster happens to be tributed, bear in mind that that also includes ritual summoning, which the vendread archetype relies on. Just by banishing another zombie, you're able to revive this. It does limit you to only summoning vendread monsters whilst you control this, but if you're designing a pure build deck, it's definitely something you'd consider running. Vendread Scavenger is a level 8 dark attribute ritual zombie monster with 2800 attack and 0 defense. You can ritual summon this card with any vendread ritual spell. You can only use the first and second effect of this card's name each once per turn. 1. During the main phase as a quick effect, you can tribute one zombie monster. This card gains attack equal to the tributed monster's original attack until the end of this turn. And 2. If you control Vendread Slayer and this card is in the graveyard, you can special summon this card but banish it when it leaves the field. This is another one of their ritual monsters. I think they've got 2 other versions. The attack points on this for a level 8 are fine, 2800 attack points, and simply you're able to, as a quick effect, tribute one of your zombie monsters. This card gains attack points equal to that tribute monster's original attack until the end of the turn. If you've got a 1800 one, that makes this card a 4600 attack monster. There are other ones, and since this can be activated during yours or your opponent's turn, it's most likely to be effective when your opponent is trying to direct their attacks into this, especially when it's focused on that and they don't have the relevant cards, for example, to destroy it by spell or trap or monster effect. The secondary ability just lets you revive this. If you've got the Vendread Slayer on the field, that's another one of their ritual monsters, but it does come at the cost that if this then gets sent back, it does have to be banished when it leaves the field. Ravenous Vendread is a ritual spell card. This card can be used to ritual summon any Vendread ritual monster. You can only activate one card with this card's name per turn. 1. Special summon one Vendread monster from your hand, deck, or graveyard in face down defense position, except Vendread Scavenger. Then ritual summon one Vendread ritual monster from your hand or graveyard by tributing monsters whose total levels equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster you ritual summon, including the summoned monster. This is a bit of a stepping stone type of ritual spell card. There are other examples of this which let you summon into something and then summon into something else. The point is, if you go into your Vendread Slayer first, then you can use that as part of the material necessary to then bring out the Scavenger. That's why there's an exception for Scavenger, that you can't summon that card, because otherwise there might be ways of kind of tweaking into it too quickly. It does require you to special summon the monster from the hand, deck, or graveyard. Bear in mind that by that means you can't necessarily instantly go into certain monsters. You are limited depending on what you're running, and at the moment I think the Vendread archetype are still quite a niche archetype. They haven't had that much support, so until they get further, I think this card is still going to be quite limiting. Overall, I think all 3 cards are quite decent. They're definitely needed to bring the archetype up to speed, but I don't think they're quite there yet. At the moment, they still need a bit of tweaking, and they also need to be combined with other zombie type archetypes in order to receive the support they need. What do you guys think of these 3 cards? Would you consider running ritual card, or do you think it's still at the moment too risky to be defining yourself purely on Vendreads? Whatever you think, I'd love to hear those in the comments down below, and please watch the end screen to see some videos to do with Power of the Elements.